Welcome everyone to Chronically Salty. This is Heidi. I thought I'd make a video about how you can go to concerts with a chronic illness. I have POTS, which I talk about on my blog a lot, which stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and it's a form of dysautonomia. And usually what happens with POTS is that when you stand, your heart rate increases, and that can lead to blackouts, near fainting spells, or fainting completely. And if you think about going to a concert, that can be extremely problematic, especially when the concert is a standing-only venue. However, I absolutely love concerts, and one of my favorite bands, Lord Huron, was going to come to Raleigh, and I actually got to go to that, but it did take a little bit of some prep work. So first of all, I did not stand for 4 hours straight at a Lord Huron concert. I am pretty sure that would have resulted in a fainting spell, but I do not want to have that happen. So what you can first do is check the venue to see if they have any ADA seating. For any venue that has standing only, they actually are required by law to have some sort of access for people with wheelchairs. And so generally those ADA seating sections also have chairs in case you can't stand that long. So actually, I pretty much feel like I got an upgrade for my ticket because I went to this raised platform area. There were seats. You were actually separated by the crowd by like a fence, which was really nice because you could still see through it perfectly, but people weren't up in your business. And I really like having that because I am short, I'm 5'2", and generally when I went to concerts before, I couldn't even see anything. So now I could see everything. I wasn't stuck in the crowd. It was a sold out concert, so this was really nice. And it's actually cooler when you're up on the ADA platform because you're not being surrounded by bodies. So that was a really nice aspect of this entire experience. So of course I had ADA seating. I came in with my walker, my supplies, and my handicap placard. So generally, if you have a handicap placard, you are eligible for ADA seating. You just have to show them your handicap placard. Obviously, I did not have to show that because I came in with a walker, and that was kind of on purpose because I wanted to make sure I wouldn't have any problems getting the ADA seating because I could have walked into the venue without a walker, but sometimes people think, oh, why is this girl dressing up all cute for a concert? She looks fine. She doesn't need ADA seating, but I do need ADA seating. So it was nice, and you can sit with one friend. So I just swapped out. So my friends, we got to sit together in ADA seating. So that was nice. But the real thing is how do you, other than that, survive a concert with a condition especially that is sensitive to any adrenaline or loud noises? For me, going to concerts, especially ones that involve drums, is really difficult because that will raise my heart rate about 30 points just off the bat. So I really have to be strategic about what I am doing and how I'm preparing for this concert. So what do I do? So first of all, I will show you my bag. I have one little purse. This is all that I bring with me. It looks kind of big, but I'm a small person, so it's actually not that large. And within this purse, it carries everything I could possibly need to go to a concert and survive it and have a really good time. So let's check that out. Okay, so we're gonna open up my bag. This bag I actually really like. I bought it in India when I was living there, and it has been handy dandy since then. So the first thing is I always bring food with me of some sort. Usually before any adrenaline or anxiety producing experience, I can't eat. That is problematic because I also have low blood sugar. So I need to make sure I have something to eat so that once I am there and I'm ready and I'm starving, I don't pass out from low blood sugar. So I like bringing nuts because they have high calories and they also are salty. So that is a double plus for me. So I bring these in. Again, if you have your doctor's note, they really can't say much about it. So I brought these in. And also sometimes I bring in little honey sticks. You can buy them at the farmer's market. So they're just like a good little bit of sugar in case you need them. But also they can fit really easily in here, and it's just like a one and done situation. So the next thing that I think is kind of scary in my bag, looking, as you can see here, is all of my cooling packs. So I was wearing a new cooling vest. It's called the Undercool. And so this one I really liked because it actually goes underneath your clothes. So this was nice because no one could tell that I was wearing it. So I wore it in the beginning underneath my outfit. And so no one could really tell that I was wearing it. And then after I got in through security and once it got hot, then I had my friends shove in the cooling packs when I needed them. So that was pretty nice to have. And I was just able to do this and even fit some cooling packs in here as well as in the back once the other ones melted. So that was my cooling pack situation. So let's look at the cooling packs. So I have 4 of these. These are the 3 cooling packs that fit into this cooling vest that's underneath my clothes. So these freeze at 70 degrees, and again, these are from Undercool. I really actually like this one because it didn't even hurt when I was sitting back against it like the other ones do, and it was really comfortable. And they also freeze at 70 degrees, so it did last a pretty good time, about an hour within the concert. But to be fair, this concert I got extremely hot, so that's actually pretty good for me. So I have 4 of these in my purse. This is going to get pretty big, but I somehow managed to fit all this stuff in. So again, 4 of these cooling packs. Then I have my Polar Products cooling packs that I bring along with me everywhere. These I just like to shove anywhere I can in my body. I can put some here, up here. I usually like wearing shorts because I can shove them into the front pockets and the back pockets. And sometimes I even shove them between like my underwear and the compression tights, and they just kind of sit there. So even if you get up and walk around, they're not going to move anywhere. So I really like that. So that's these. So each of these are $15. I think they are the best things on the planet. I like these somewhat more than these for just shoving them places because the technology in this one doesn't really make it squishable, and it's kind of harder to just form to your body, but this one does. So these are kind of half melted, so it's what it looks like, half melted. Because I forgot to put, this is since last night, so this is still cold from last night, and it is 3:30 in the afternoon. So that's kind of nice. So I have 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cooling packs that I would bring to a 4-hour long event. If it is outside and I expect it to be greater than 80 degrees for 4 hours, I would bring every one of my cooling packs, which is 12 of them, plus the Undercool now, and that would get me through that event. And after that 4 hours, I would have had to recharge it in some sort of freezer. So I haven't really gotten there yet. And sometimes I bring a cooler to put them all in if I'm going to be outside. So I have those. And then I also have these, which is another Polar Products. These are thinner and they're supposed to be like a breast cooler, but you know, as you can tell, I don't know. So don't really have that. So I just shoved these like here. I actually put this one in here, which was really nice. So these worked pretty well. So this one actually I was wearing last night and it's still pretty cold in there. So it's really nice because in my house right now it's about 75 degrees. So this is staying a pretty long time. I really like these. So I have a total of about 12 packs and I have 6 more in my freezer. So if needed, I can bring more. So that's the cooling pack situation. That is the most important aspect for me for a concert. This concert, the venue was probably about 65 degrees when I first came in, so it's actually really cold, but by midway through, once I start not being able to see anymore because I'm so brain fogged, I know I'm too hot, and I just start shoving cool packs in, and it kind of reinvigorates me for another hour until the cool packs burn out, but good thing I have more because then I just replace them and I keep going. So that was really nice to have, and that kept me going throughout the entire process. So the next thing that's really important to bring with you is your handicap placard. I know a lot of people with POTS actually do not have handicap placards, but I would suggest trying to get one. And I don't use this all the time when parking. However, when I'm driving alone, I really like having a handicap placard because sometimes it is 105 degrees in North Carolina, and I think it's dangerous for me to walk from the other end of the parking lot into a store, walk back out, and then get into a hot car and wait in the hot car in 120 degrees in my car until it cools down. So I use it for that in the summer, and then also for very crowded venues like this when there's a very long walk. So there's that. And then within the handicap placard, I have my doctor's note. So the doctor's note is going to help me get in anywhere if security is being annoying. So of course you need to make sure you have the letterhead and your doctor sign it and everything that you need to have in it. So this says water, electrolytes, and cooling vest. And then I might need a wheelchair or assistance. So that is really important because sometimes they are iffy about that. But again, they really legally can't do much because of ADA requirements. So especially if it's a public place. So make sure you have that. So that's the next thing. Then I have a fan. I like this one because it's smaller than my battery powered fans and it works pretty well. Also, it's purple, my favorite color. So this one's nice. And sometimes when it's hot and I have my cooling packs on, maybe my friend's hot, so I'll give them this. Help them out too. So the next thing I have in my bag is, I always bring with me a mask with me everywhere. This mask is an N99. It is almost the end of flu season, but sometimes the scents in some places are really, really strong, and I don't really like it. Last night they actually had incense burning, which didn't really bother me, but again, I just like to have this around, or maybe someone sitting next to you at the venue looks like they have the flu. Yeah, I'm not gonna get the flu from you and then ruin my whole next week. So I really like this one. It's $30 and reusable for about a year. And so it's really nice. I think it's kind of cute. I had another one that was gray, but I thought the butterfly was better. I don't really use it too much, but it's good to have. The next thing is let's say they have strobe lights happening. I really don't like having that because each strobe light feels like another adrenaline jolt throughout my body, and it doesn't make me feel good at all. So I do bring glasses for indoor experiences sometimes. I didn't actually need to use it last night because they're all darker tones, which was really nice. But sometimes when they're really bright, I just don't like it, and I will put these on. And these actually are in this gray shade, brown shade, and that's supposed to be the best shade for people with MS. So I've actually figured that that's probably going to help me too. And this actually has been the most helpful shade for me as well. So I really like that. The next thing in my bag, earplugs. So earplugs have been the most beneficial thing for me for any loud concert experience. This is the third concert I've been to with POTS. Each concert has been a trip, but this one by far was my best one. And I actually finally figured out how to use them. But these are a noise reduction rating of 30. I thought the Eargasm brand would be better, but they actually only have a noise reduction rating of 15, and 30 is the max you can get in a single shot. So these are the ones that I use, and they are very helpful. So I definitely have them with me at all times because they are very useful. So I use that as well. Next, I have hand sanitizer, of course, because you never know what germs these people have got going on. Also, got to look cute, got my lipstick. I really like Burt's Bees because guess what? They don't have shea butter in half their lipsticks. And I'm allergic to latex, and latex is in shea butter as well. So this is really nice to have. So if you look at my pictures, yeah, I was rocking it. I look cute in ADA. And then also, of course, my tickets. So that's important. And then I have the more medical side, I guess. I mean, I don't know if that was not medical enough for you, but I have a bag full of salt pills. This is where it gets kind of sketchy looking, and my bag has kind of a hidden compartment, so I kind of put these in here first because it looks like these could be illegal drugs. But they're not, they're salt. So I have my salt pills with me. I also have a pill crusher. I have a couple tri-oral ORS, which each has 2.6 grams of sodium in them. So I've got to make sure I bring that to a concert in case it gets too hot. And then most importantly, I have my drug box. I actually do not use many drugs at all for POTS. I only use one drug for POTS specifically, which is Coralano or Ivabradine to bring down my heart rate. Here's the problem with Ivabradine for me. I have what I think is more like hyperPOTS. Adrenaline and anxiety are what going to make my POTS go wild. And so if I'm at a concert and I'm excited, my body does not know the difference between excitement and running from a bear. So I have to make sure that I am heavily medicated at a concert. And when I go to a concert, I am the most heavily medicated I have ever been, just so that I can go and enjoy myself somewhat. And it still doesn't even really make it that much difference, but it definitely makes me able to go. So what I do specifically for that is I use my max dosage of Ivabradine for that situation. I also make sure that I hydrate as much as possible before the concert. And then specifically differently for a concert situation, I actually use Xanax. So I do not really, a lot of people with POTS and dysautonomia like being on benzos daily, but I really do not want to have an addiction problem. I don't really think it's necessary in general for me to have it daily, but sometimes I really need to have it to kind of blunt that adrenaline effect, as well as it actually helps my recovery time. So it used to be that after concert, I would be recovering for about a week. But now I'm kind of feeling tired today, and I didn't sleep at all last night because of the adrenaline, but I'm sure that by tomorrow or even the next day, it's going to be fine. So that is why I use it. But despite that, I'm not actually using Xanax to its greatest amount. My body is so sensitive that my max dosage ivabradine is 5 milligrams a day, which is the amount of one morning pill for most people. So when I'm talking about Xanax, I actually get it compounded by my compounding pharmacy, and they will actually make it to any strength that I want. So I told my doctor that I want to do 1/4 dose of the smallest amount. So you guys, if you do take Xanax, you're probably going to laugh, but my Xanax is actually only 0.125 milligrams in a tiny pill with a filler of salt, of course. And so that is what I use about an hour before going to the concert. And I like to use that as well for tests or things like, or interviews or something like that. That really helps me just kind of tone it down a little bit so I'm not shaking the whole time. Because shaking and having nausea feeling from the adrenaline is not, it just makes the concert really annoying. So now I really just try to take it. I hate taking it, but at this point, I've just realized that no matter how I'm feeling that day, I just need to do it so that I can enjoy my concert, because I did not do that for Iron and Wine back in the fall, and it was hot in there, and I thought I was dying. So not doing that again. Now I just have my method. I drink up, I salt up, I take extra heart meds, and I take a low dose Xanax in preparation for the concert. So that is very important to me. So those are my drugs that I take. Not too many. And that is pretty much it for my bag. So as you can tell, my bag's not really that big, but I do fit everything in there, and that is really what helps me get through concerts. I do bring a walker, of course. I love my walker. It has a compartment underneath that I can put everything in. Security never looks there for some reason, but you can just put food in there, and maybe that will help you get some security with food. And I really do like bringing it in because it also expedites the process, because people do not see that I am someone who's struggling standing in line outside at the gate. And if I do have a walker and it's hot, then there has been situations in the summer where there's a long line for maybe people waiting an hour out in line. That's dangerous for me. So I will just go up with my walker and roll on through, because there's no use in me making a scene and them having to call EMS because I had to wait outside. So I'm not going to do that. And if it's in the winter, then of course not. But if it's in the summer, I am doing that, and that has been helpful, as well as having the handicap placard. I do have a permanent handicap placard, but a lot of people, if you just go to your doctor and talk about why you're using it, then I feel like they should be able to help you out with that, because you're using it for different reasons than just being close to place. Again, if you're using a handicap placard and you do not use a wheelchair, do not park in the van accessible parking spaces, because then they cannot go to that place at all. So generally, I will avoid at all costs parking in one of those spaces, because that is actually reserved for people who are using a wheelchair ramp. But I do like having that so that I can have access into places like this and access ADA, because that is really beneficial for me and helps me have fun doing things that I never thought I'd be able to do ever again, because it used to be that talking on the phone was too much adrenaline for me and I would just be laying down for an hour. And last night I was jamming out to a concert for 3 hours and survived. So I am really excited by that. And those are my tips and tricks. Read the blog post for more information, and also to see step by step what I'm packing in my bag. I think that's really beneficial for people who have never been to a concert before, or any kind of high adrenaline environment, so that you know how to prepare for that and to keep yourself safe. So thanks for joining, and I hope to see you soon.